If you want to support the channel, head over to forthefamily.co. Our black trucker hat is still available for a limited time. Now let's get right into the video.
We believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. That's what we believe, in some big and some small ways. And we believe that in this world, people can change it for the better. And that those people that are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that actually do.
I would like to begin and end this video with one phrase. Everything happens for a reason. Throughout life, we've probably all heard or seen this phrase hundreds of times. I know that I have, and I found it difficult applying this to my personal life. But like with most things, it takes time to truly understand. This is Steve Jobs. Most of you probably know who he is already, but if you're not fully sure, here's a quick summary. Steve Jobs is the former CEO and co-founder of Apple Incorporated. A little known fact is that he is also the founder of Pixar Animation Studios. Steve Jobs is known as the father of personal computers with his introduction of the Macintosh in 1984. And he completely revolutionized personal computing and mobile technology with the introduction of the iPhone in 2007. It is truly amazing how one person can contribute to the creation of such groundbreaking organizations and products. With all these large accomplishments under his belt, it may lead someone to think that Steve Jobs was always looking ahead at the bigger picture of what's to come. But the truth is, he would pay attention to the details of his past, trying to connect the dots to his future.
The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college. But it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
Connecting the dots. Steve Jobs was able to find meaning from events in his life that seemed to be small or even mundane by connecting the dots. Whenever I hear the phrase, everything happens for a reason, I always thought that it would have to be some great event that completely changed the trajectory of my life. I realize now that even small events can have great meaning, especially when working on creative projects. But there is no one who can find that meaning for you. Connecting the dots involves the individual to create a line from point A to point B. Always remember that connecting the dots in your life is key to understanding your vision. If you want to support the channel, head over to forthefamily.co. Our black trucker hat is still available for a limited time. If you don't want to head over to the site, leaving a like and subscribing to the channel is always a free way to show your support. If you want to keep up with us off of YouTube, follow us on Instagram at Stop Hate and Make Friends. This is one of those videos that I really enjoyed making, and if you want to see more of the speech that I included in this video from Steve Jobs, I'll include the link down below in the description. Hope you all have a great day.